tonight. And so, hey, welcome back to Real Talk with Pivot Realtors. Today, a lot of times we sit down with real estate agents talking about the real estate market and what's happening in their life and building their career. But today, we have a super duper special guest, and that is Mr. Solomon Wilburn, who's the sales manager of Pivot Realty Group and leading everything fantastic that all of our agents are doing out in the marketplace and affecting consumers on a daily basis. So I'm excited to have a conversation with Saul and somebody that's going to go mano a mano for some great real estate conversation and whatever it takes. So stick with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back live here in just a few seconds. So we're back. Hey, sorry about that few second interval. However, we like our graphic and the light bulb that blows up and says Pivot Realty. So, hey, I'm sitting here with Saul Wilburn. We're sitting in the podcast room and conference room, podcast room, studio. It's a little bit really bright behind you because we don't have our really expensive shades up yet. I think I'm like not wanting to spend the money, but we finally are pulling the plug so we can hit a button and shades go down. But it's Pivot Realty Group sometimes. Sometimes it's a Necessary Entrepreneur podcast, but it really is everything sales, leadership, entrepreneurial conversation on how to make people's lives better and talk about experiences and share stories. So today, Saul Wilburn. What's up, man?
What's up with you, Mark? Hey, you know what? After that intro, I'd just like to see if I could like stuff you in my pocket and take you around with me everywhere. That way, every time I meet somebody new, you can give that introduction because I liked it. Sounded nice.
And I can't believe somebody actually said that they would like to have me with them all the time.
Well, hey,
yeah, you said it. Do you really mean that?
I do. Hey, if you're going to give me that introduction every time I meet someone, then yes, I truly mean that.
I could have given a different introduction. The different introduction could have been like, we call him the professor around here. Now I'm going to take it further. It could have been like the professor. Man, you have so many experiences in your life before the last, 11 years? I think you're going to be here 15. I'm still going to be calling it 11. I'm not good, right, with these exact, but is it 11 years?
Yeah, I think it is. I think we're a little past 11.
Okay, 11 years. So the company's been around 13, so you've seen the majority of what we've done. What number agent were you? Because you started out as a real estate agent. What number were you?
I was 007.
You were the seventh agent.
I was the seventh agent.
I just had a post today from, we put out some content on the Pivot Facebook page, and it was, I think, our 100th licensed agent, number 100, talking to the first agent, who was Roy Martin. And what I love is now I don't have anything to do with the content creation, what the stories are going to be, and it's neat for me to see what this company's become. But from 7 to 100, you've seen all of that.
Yeah, it has. We have. It feels sometimes, things feel like they go really quick. 11 years feels like a long time ago. It really does. And I think some of that comes from the fact that we were a really, really tiny, small company, a little tiny little office. And now sometimes it's hard to keep everybody's faces and names straight. I know that doesn't sound good, but man, you really have to try because we have so many people that are coming and joining this company and really just going gangbusters and trying to change their life.
So it feels special to me when I look back on the 100. I shared it and then went, hey, talked about the path a little bit. And then I went, hey, wait for the next story. Maybe it'll be the 1,000th agent talking to the 100th. And I think that's going to happen over the next 48 to 60 months as a company. And so the weird thing is we're talking about you being number 7. Think about the 7th person. I'm not saying we're going to become Amazon or Apple or anything like that, but think about what the 7th person, this is going to become a more substantial company than it is now because the people and what we've done. Think about all those stories and the things that those people saw from 7 to where they probably similar things, right? And so we could sit here and talk for hours because we have.
Yeah, that we tend to do that from time to time.
I'm sorry.
5 minutes turns into 2 hours.
You know me, man. So I see when I walk into your office, I'm like, can I get 5? So at least I say, can I get 10 now?
Evolution.
So what do you think? Man, we could sit here and talk about these 11 years. So you as the sales manager, you and your position and what you've done, it has allowed, not to get into it a ton, but it's allowed me to focus on, buying this building, growing the company, strategy, other marketplaces. So I really don't have anything to do with the day-to-day I have to do with the day-to-day of the company, but not the day-to-day of the integral transaction with our agents, right? So you run all that.
Yeah.
And you've seen every piece of it. You started out as an agent knocking on doors, and now you're here, and who knows what titles are in the future, but we're both going to continue to grow.
Knocking on doors. Wait a minute. You probably just scared a lot of people by saying that.
We knocked on doors. Let's not go down that path. I'll talk for an hour about it. So there's so many topics, man, but like a topic I think we should talk about is what experiences in life, like let's not go deep into me and you maybe, but what experiences in life do we see inside the people that are becoming agents with this company, and the ones that have succeeded and failed? But the people inside this company, more often the ones that succeed, what experiences have they had in life, from personal to business, professional? What do you think those experiences? Nobody's going to have the same experience. What are they? Is there anything that comes to mind when I ask that?
Yeah,
that's going to make them successful in real estate?
Definitely. And there's not just one. I mean, I think there's probably a collection of experiences that people can have 2, 3, 4 shared experiences, and they're all going to benefit. I think it starts with a desire to want to help people, right? So I think people that have that in their past and their background, where they've legitimately enjoyed helping other people, because that's what a real estate agent, you're in a role, you're in a job, you're in a career where it's not about you. Literally none of it is about you. You're trying to help people achieve their goals. And when you help other people achieve their goals, then you achieve your goals, right? But you cannot achieve a goal of your own without helping somebody else first. So that's where it starts.
So it's important for them to have had that experience.
I think so. Well, I think that people that have had that experience in the past and or enjoy that and connect with helping other people, they might not necessarily have had the full on experience of being in the exact position of helping other people, but that they, in some part of their life, right? It doesn't have to have been professionally. It could have been in their personal life, where it could be in their family, where they really lock into that role and really get some satisfaction out of helping people. Then that's going to translate 100% into being a real estate agent.
Is that because it's tough to learn it if you don't know it and already as an adult?
It is, yeah. And also because if you don't have that inside, people see through it. And to be a good agent, you have to take some joy in helping somebody else.
Go in to be a good agent, because let's go deep into this. I have some passions behind this company and why 13 years ago I had this vision of what real estate needed to become, right? And the term pivot, it needed to pivot away from all sorts of things, but egos and feeling of self-importance that by inherently realtors that's just the reality of what they think about themselves.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Right? I'm not trying to undermine our industry, because it's a very, very important and essential industry and role. But unfortunately, agents that I had seen that were successful over time in their companies in this business, for some reason, they developed this ego, or maybe it came out, it was already there. And then they had this realization of this self-importance that they felt like the transaction was about them, right? And we still deal with that. Our agents aren't perfect, but at least we push against that personality and that attitude here. I'm disappointed that our industry, these other agents we deal with at other companies, it's still very, very frequent that we run into that.
Yeah, there are. I mean, I think in our marketplace, there's close to 10,000 real estate agents that work in the 2 or 3 markets that we really focus in right now. So, I mean, there's a wide spectrum in terms of agents and what their motivations are, and then the levels of service and experience that they can provide to people. And that plays into account.
Yeah. So it's important that what we've found from this industry is it is essential that you lead with this idea that you spoke to. You have to be altruistic, even though it's a commission sales environment and you have an opportunity to financially change your life, right? It is important that you put your customer and your consumer before your own interest. It's easy to say, right?
Right. And it's easy to say, one, because legally we have to, right? As a real estate agent, the state tells us that we have these fiduciary responsibilities and looking out for the best interests of our client and putting their needs above our own, right? So legally we have to, but if that's not truly who you are and what you lead with, this won't be a career that's satisfying to you. It won't. It'll be like a job. It will be.
Might make a lot of money.
You might.
Right.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah. But you're going to end up not making a difference in people's lives. Yeah. And I think, I have this idea about when people start a company, you better do something better and different that's already being done in the marketplace. Like if you're going to start a real estate company, I said it a couple of days ago to some people in here. I said, if you want to start a company, you better be better than Pivot. If somebody thinks that they can do real, and I'm challenging them to, because that's why Pivot was created. Because I looked at the marketplace and said, you have to do it better. But if you're going to be someone who gets into this business as a realtor, you better look around at the top 10 or 20% and what they're delivering to the marketplace from a consumer experience. And you better live up to that.
Yeah.
If not, what business do you have to become a real estate agent?
Right. And I think that's a trap that a lot of people that are thinking about getting into the business, they fall into. And part of it might be our fault, right? Like as real estate agents, sometimes we make what we do seem really easy to the public, and it's anything but easy, right? Like sometimes we talk about how hot the market is, or we talk about how quickly we sold a property and helped somebody, and we put great photos out here and looks like we're living a great life. And so to people outside the industry, what we do look and feels really easy. They don't see the tough negotiations. They don't see the transactions that fell apart that you had to put back together. They don't see someone's dream house not become a reality.
They don't see, you know what they don't see when it looks too easy? They don't see these 11 p.m. calls that customers expect us to make. Right? I mean, that's real. I mean, myself and Mike Boyd, who's the producer of the podcast, and him and Annie are behind the scenes here today. He works with me on all my transactions. We've had a deal recently. We've been on the phone, me and him, multiple times after 10 p.m. with clients on shared phone calls. Not only, even after we bought and secured the home, inspection repairs, appraisals, getting additional inspections of mold, right? There are so many hours that have to be invested into these transactions for clients. Because I'm going to tell you, if you aren't doing it for them and for someone else, you're not going to be on the phone at 11 p.m. talking business.
Right. That if you're not in it to help somebody else, that gets old really quick.
Yep. And we have to do it. I don't want to get on the phone at 11. You've done it. I don't want to. It doesn't feel good to have to do it, with the exception of that's what that customer needs then. So what other, you said they need to put others first, right? Mm-hmm. What other experiences in life? Because we know that problem solving skills are essential.
Oh, huge.
Right.
I mean, so, from a skill, like if you're looking for a skill, like being a problem solver, being able to be somebody who is presented with what might feel like a new problem, right? And then being able to not freak out, not need a ton of help from somebody else, but to be able to break it down in its simplest form and figure it out, right? Because somebody else is relying on you to figure it out for them, and then come back and advise them.
Someone else who is emotional.
Right.
Right. Your clients in the transaction are emotional. A lot of times, unfortunately, agents on the other end of the line are emotional. And the issue is our agents have to rise above that. Right. You have to work and if you're an emotional person in life, I don't care how cool this is or not politically correct, you got to check your emotions. So you better be able to be self-aware, right? Mm-hmm. You better be able to have a growth mindset. And if you haven't developed the skills thus far in life, that's why it's important they come with it.
Yeah.
You better get busy developing them.
Very quick.
Right. Yeah. So what other skills?
Well, I think so this is an industry. This is a career where, it ends up not being what you thought it was a lot of times when you get into it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, so I again, kind of touching on what I said a minute ago, where agents a lot of times make it seem really easy what we're doing. So when somebody does go into it for the first time and they're in their first or second transaction, they thought it was going to be a lot smoother, a lot simpler, and it ends up not being that way. So piggybacking on that, like somebody who's determined, right? Like somebody who doesn't stop at a problem, but like pushes through, and their mentality is like, whatever it takes, I'm going to find a way to help this person, right? As opposed to just accepting something and then just going with it.
So let me ask you, it's a little bit off topic here, but take you as an agent, if you can think back 11 years ago. So what are you, 43?
Thanks.
44.
44.
Okay. I'm 42 now. So, but if you think,
I just got dated on,
you did?
on Real Talk.
You did, man. But let me tell you, your 44-year-old self, man, if you were on the market and you're not, because Shelly's got you off the market, right? But if you were on the market, there'd be a lot of takers, man. So don't worry about the 44-year-old age. You're okay.
No comment.
Okay. So, but anyway, think about the person you were 11 years ago. Okay. So the 33-year-old Saul, that's the reason why I needed to date you.
Okay.
The 33-year-old Saul, was it the person that you were, or was it the experiences that you've had that made you right for this business?
That's a great question. It is, because I mean, they somewhat go hand in hand, right? Like, because the person that I was is made up a lot of the life experiences that I had to that point, right? But I mean,